Chicago Cubs, a team the Astros have beaten in all 5 series played. Tonight, Bud Norris will try to win his 10th game as the Astros try to end the year on a winning note. It's the Astros and Cubs, next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 3-game weekend series. To conclude the season, they meet the Chicago Cubs. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Astros polished off their final 10-game road trip of the year. Didn't go well for them, but they would really love for this weekend to be put in the win column, JD.
Yeah, come back home and finish the season on a winning note. Winning this series against the Cubs certainly would be nice. Not going to be easy, though. The Cubs have been playing very good baseball under new manager Mike Quade. They just won 3 out of 4 in San Diego. They've won 17 of their last 21 road games. Let's take a peek at the pitching matchups for this weekend series with the Cubs. Tonight it's rookie Casey Coleman up against Bud Norris. Bud looking for win number 10. Zambrano on half tomorrow. Carlos Zambrano may be the best pitcher in the National League in the month of September. And then finally on Sunday, Wandy Rodriguez one more time trying to get back to even, and he's up against Ryan Dempster.
That's the weekend ahead for you. The Astros have played very well against the Chicago Cubs this season. They've won 2 of 3 in every series from Chicago. We'll be back to see the opener of this game, of this series, in just a moment. Check out the 2010 F-150. Ford is the best in Texas. Well, we get a treat. The roof is open and the skies are glorious above. Beautiful temperatures and lower humidity than we might normally expect on an October 1st. As the beginning of this series is about to unfold, it's Chicago and Houston. The Astros 10-5 against the Cubs. Fans enjoying the food and the view. And there's a lot going on with these two clubs now, even though the Astros are 75 and 84, the Cubs are 73 and 86. Just the way they finished the season, important to both of these managers. Brad Mills has talked about it for weeks now, just playing the game, and the Astros have made so much progress in the way they've played it. They're 39 and 31 since the All-Star break, and the Cubs, too, have had a revitalization. After Lou Piniella retired, Mike Quade stepped in, and his club is 22 and 12, and many of the everyday followers of the Chicago Cubs now think that he is a very good shot at getting this job for the future, JD.
Yeah, it seems to be between Mike Quade and Cub icon Ryne Sandberg, but yeah, I'm getting the sense of people I talk to that Jim Henry really likes Mike Quade, likes the job he has done, and certainly the numbers are good. The team has been winning baseball under Mike, so it will be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
A lot of young players in the lineup for Mike Quade tonight, beginning with their center fielder and leadoff man, Sam Fuld. Fuld in center, followed by Darwin Barney at shortstop, Blake DeWitt at second base, Alfonso Soriano in left field, Micah Hoffpower at first base, Brad Snyder right field, Bobby Scales the third baseman, Wellington Castillo the catcher, Casey Coleman the Cubs pitcher.
The Astros pitcher tonight is Bud Norris. Take a look at his numbers, and he's been much better in the second half of the season. 3-1, 4.23 ERA in the month of August. In September, also 3-1, 4.30 ERA. Last time out against the Pirates, he was a losing pitcher, allowed 5 runs in 4 2/3. He had won his 3 previous starts, so Bud had been going along nicely. Bump in the road last time and looking to finish strong here tonight. Help will come from Michaels, Bourgeois, and Pence in the outfield. Jeff Blum getting a start at shortstop. It's been a while since Blummer's been out there. Lee at first base, Castro behind the plate. Kepinger's your second baseman. Chris Johnson is at the hot corner.
And as Bud Norris goes after win number 10 of the season, he's facing a Chicago team which has struggled to score runs but has pitched extremely well. The Cubs won 2 games by 1-0 scores as they took 3 of 4 from a contending team, the San Diego Padres. And as they come in, they have completed a month of September with a 16-9 record. So Mike Quade's club really on the uptick here at the end of the season. After all the years he has spent as a minor league manager, he knows how to handle a baseball game. We know that. Sam Fuld is his first batter. 28 years old, from Durham, New Hampshire, and Stanford University. He got an economics degree at Stanford. He's 4 for 23 and has 3 runs batted in. Cubs hit only .234 in the month of September, and yet they were 16-9. Tells you how well he pitched. Norris delivers, and it's strike 1. David Rackley is the home plate umpire. Norris is 1-0 in 2 career games against Chicago with an ERA of 1. One of those as a starter. He moves Fuld back, and the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike.
Bud pitched against the Cubs at the end of July here in Houston. Pitched very well. 6 innings, 1-run baseball. That run was unearned. That was his first win against somebody other than the Cardinals.
Ground ball to shortstop. Jeff Blum to his right. Takes care of the first play over to Carlos Lee. 1 out.
Of course they're going to hit the first ball to Blum.
Hasn't played much shortstop, although more than he has in several years at that position. This is his 14th start at that position, but it's been a while. Now Darwin Barney, he's the Cubs shortstop tonight. 246, no homers, 2 runs batted in for Barney.
If Blummer pulled something out of his back pocket, he might have a notebook out there with him where to play these guys. There's a lot of unfamiliar faces in this Cub lineup tonight. He may have taken a cheat sheet out to shortstop with him.
Couldn't blame him. Refamiliarize here. And with these new hitters, yes. Tough to get a book on guys if you haven't seen them before. Just going over reports. Barney's a rookie who goes for that one, and it's no balls, 2 strikes to Darwin. 24 years old, born in Portland, Oregon. This is his 28th game as a Cub. He was called up for the minors August 12th. Sliders in the dirt. The count running to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Barney's played all around the infield, except for first base. He scored the only run in the 1-0 win yesterday. The Cubs got that run in the 9th. Fouls it back. Barney had a 2-hit game and scored 2 runs as he got the start against Wandy Rodriguez back on September 6th in Chicago. He went to Oregon State University.
How many times do you think he got called Barney Darwin when he was a kid?
A bunch. You know it.
Yes,
and
he did.
Swings at the slider. Yep, that's a strikeout. It's number 1 of the night for Bud Norris. Strikeout numbers are strong for Bud.
152 strikeouts in 147 innings of work. A strikeout rate of 9.26 per 9 innings pitched, 6th best in the National League.
Now it's Blake DeWitt, who came in a trade from the Dodgers. DeWitt takes a look at ball 1, 263, 5 homers, 52 runs batted in for this 25-year-old second baseman, formerly a third baseman, born in Sarasota, Florida. It's 2-0, but he started at second, then moved to third, then back. First round pick in 2004. DeWitt was traded July 31st in the Ted Lilly Ryan Theriot deal. He smacks one by a lunging Keppinger for a 2-out single to right field for Blake DeWitt.
No Aramis Ramirez tonight. No Marlon Byrd. No Starlin Castro. Good swing of the bat here by DeWitt. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 left-handed bats plus a switch hitter in the lineup tonight for Mike Quaddy's Cubs.
Alfonso Soriano with 24 homers, 78 runs batted in, has produced a .254 batting average. Soriano, a 7-time All-Star, has a lot of pop. 121 strikeouts, part of the package for him. Big bat, a big swing. There's ball 1 to Soriano.
Yeah, dangerous hitter who can take you out of the ballpark, but as Brownie mentioned, he strikes out a lot. He's not hitting for much of an average this year. He's a liability in the outfield, and he's making a lot of money and will be for another 4 years, I believe. So the Cubs got a little bit of an issue on their hands.
Well, they have found that another guy who's on a big contract, Carlos Zambrano, has really come around in a major way for them. So they would hope that Soriano could follow suit next year, perhaps. It's 3 balls and no strikes. They are handcuffed with some major deals. Their new owner has said that the payroll will come down next season. Their attendance has dropped off this year, especially in terms of a lot of no-shows. And Big Z just lit it up in the month of September. Could wind up being pitcher of the month.
You got my vote. Yeah, right below 1.
Got mine, too. 2 men on now after the walk to Soriano. And it's Micah Hoffpower coming up next.
Well, walk's a bit of an issue for Bud. He has issued 71 now. He kind of goes with the territory with the power game. Misses a lot of bats, but he also misses the strike zone a fair bit. If he can tighten that up, that's where you're going to see a chance for a big leap forward in his development. You know, when you look at where he ranks in strikeouts per inning pitched, the guys that he's in line with, it's Clayton Kershaw, Matt Latos, Josh Johnson, Cole Hamels. I mean, it's the elite guys in the league. He has that kind of stuff.
Six of his last 7 pitches have been balls. Now Hoffpower looks at another ball, and it's low for ball 1, and 186 for Hoffpower with 5 runs batted in. And Castro goes to the mound. Hoffpower, 30 years old, born in Fort Worth, Texas. Went to Lamar University. And we've seen him from time to time over the years. 13th round pick in 2002 by the Cubs. He came up August 23rd for the second time this season. Pitch just off the plate, takes the count to 2-0.
Wow. Pretty good looking pitch.
David Rackley. We haven't seen much of him umpiring, have we?
It's been just a hair outside.
Maybe. Now 3-0.
It's the kind of pitch where if the catcher's sitting out there and he catches that in the middle of his body, you might get the call.
Brad Snyder's on deck.
Well, off power. Not had a lot of at-bats. Just 43 at-bats with the Cubs this year, but he's got a little pop in his bat, but you have to come right after him here. You start pumping it over the plate.
And that's fouled away. 3-1 to count. Cubs are 10th in the league in runs scored.
That didn't work out too well for him.
We'll be watching the scoreboard for games involving playoff opportunities for some of the teams tonight. Atlanta 1, Philadelphia nothing, bottom of the second inning. Hoffpauir takes a walk to load the bases for Snyder now. Back-to-back walks after the 2-out single by DeWitt give the Cubs a threat. And Brad Snyder, as Brad Arnsberg comes out, had the only RBI in yesterday's Cubs 1-0 win. That was a ninth inning single for Snyder. A thrill for him as his club beat the San Diego Padres 1-0.
Arnie out there dispensing some wisdom to Bud as he tries to work his way out of this jam. That's one thing you always want to keep in mind as a pitcher, no matter what kind of trouble you're in. If you got a couple outs, you're one pitch away from getting out of the inning, and that's where Bud is right now. Bases juiced, 2 outs. Brad Snyder, a guy that Astros have not seen much of. And primarily a minor leaguer.
Snyder takes ball 1. Somehow Bud's going to have to get these Cubs to swing the bat.
He gets good run on his two-seam fastball, and sometimes when he's trying to throw it to the outside part of the plate, it just runs off the edge. You've got to try to find a way to reset his sights.
He gets a swing, and it's 1-1.
We'll go with plan B, and that's the slider. We'll start the ball maybe a little more middle in and let it run to the outside corners as opposed to starting it at the outer third and having it run off the edge.
There's a swing, and that makes it 1-2. And a big difference for Bud when he is, of course, ahead in the count, as he is right here.
Well, he threw that fastball right by Snyder. I don't know anything about Brad Snyder. I don't know what the scouting report is on him. But he was a little slow to that heater.
Yes, he was.
And it looked like they're going to go again, high fastball.
Oh, that's strike 3 call. Now he gets a call. And it's no runs a hit. 3 men left. Cubs nothing. Astros coming up. Leading it off in center field. Jeff Keppinger at second base. Hunter Pence in right field. Carlos Lee at first base tonight. Jeff Plum is the shortstop. With Jason Michaels in left field. Chris Johnson at third base. Jason Castro the catcher. Bud Norris the Houston pitcher.
Casey Coleman for the Cubs tonight. He has made 7 Major League starts. He's made 1 against the Astros. It happened on September 6th. And there are the numbers. 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. He walked 5, punched out a couple. And defensively, when he's on his game, he'll get a lot of ground balls. The outfield is covered by Soriano, Fold, and Snyder. Infield is Scales, Barney, DeWitt, and Hoffpower. Wellington Steele is the signal caller. Hey!
Sounds like royalty, huh?
Who are these Cubs?
Wellington Castillo. Jason Bourgeois started 10 games in a row now with Michael Bourne being out. Michael probably will not play again. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bourge. 227 his average. 3 runs batted in. On the road trip, he hit 209. He had 48 at bats, so he's been a regular as a leadoff man without Michael available with the strained right oblique. 2 balls, 1 strike. He continues to work out, do his running, but just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to use him, especially if swinging the bat is involved.
It's time to go into shutdown mode. Operation Shutdown. Get the hat back, chew some gum. Thinking about Cougar football.
Little dribbler goes foul.
In the off season. You can't fight it. The body breaks down on you.
Yeah.
Get to this point in the season. No sense pushing it.
Unlike the athlete who came up with that term, Operation Shutdown, though, Michael actually wants to play. Grounded to the left side. Darwin Barney with the throw, and he gets Bourgeois. 1 out for Casey Coleman.
It was Derek Bell who went into Operation Shutdown, or at least threatened to do so. I don't remember what was going on with DB at the time. I think he was with Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, he was with Pittsburgh.
Something about playing time or his contract.
Yeah.
Let's go into Operation Shutdown.
Well, yeah, he did very well at that. Jeff Keppinger is next, 291. 6 homers, 59 runs batted in for Jeff. Jeff's hitting .316 in the month of September. So, did you see that piece on the baseball highlights? It was one of the highlight shows, flashing back through the many years when Derek Bell was with Toronto.
I don't know the piece.
He was a rookie. They took his car, I think it was an SUV, and the players managed to get the keys to it and drove it around on the field and said that one lucky fan would win.
Yeah.
And he didn't know at first. He had no clue that was his SUV. And then they had this camera on his face the whole time, and it dawned on him. He got this sick look on his face.
That's beautiful.
2 balls and a strike to Jeff Keppinger.
Well, he went a long way from there, because when he was with the Astros, he used to roll up to the dome in his Bentley with his bucket of fried chicken from Church's.
I distinctly remember that. Ground ball up the middle. DeWitt with the play, getting Keppinger. 2 outs for Casey Coleman. Brady, you mentioned the start he had. Went pretty well against the Astros in September. He's a 15th round pick in 08. And a guy who is from Fort Myers, Florida. Might just fit into that rotation. He was a non-roster invitee to spring training this year.
Dad and grandfather both pitched to the big leagues. Not a real hard throw. He just relies on sinking the ball, trying to keep it down around the knees, induce a bunch of ground balls. And to that end, so far so good. 2 ground ball outs to start the game.
Hunter Pence lays off that low pitch. There's ball 1. 284 for Hunter, 25 homers, 91 runs batted in. He has dropped off in batting average. Went 2 for 12 in the Cincinnati series, but on the road trip he hit .333. He was pushing well up into the 290s. Now it's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Hunter is 9th in the league in hits. Has a new career high in runs batted in. And that one goes off the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carlos Lee is on deck. Cubs have given up 3 or fewer runs in 13 straight road games, dating back to September 10th. Longest streak by the franchise since 1920. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's a breakdown on Hunter. 280 in September, 322 for August after a 312 July. It's a hot shot off Bobby Scales. He launches a throw into the seats, and Hunter will wind up at second base. He hit it hard at Scales, blocked it with his body, and then he just uncorked a very high throw over off power.
You see the ball hooking on him, so he moves one way and the ball breaks the other way on him. And no business making that throw. A lot of adrenaline pumping. His baseball clock let him down there because with Pence going down the line, not going to be able to throw him out. Probably should put it in his back pocket.
This one gets by the catcher, Castillo. Hunter around third. And Carlos Lee just looked at ball one.
So we got a single and an E5, and now pass ball, I'm guessing. Still late to react to that breaking ball. Maybe got crossed up.
Hunter was ready. Moving to third now with 2 outs.
Oh, good breaks.
Very good breaks.
Hear him lock him up?
Yeah. Really wild pitch. Carlos fouls that one, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
A lot of movement. Castillo looks a little unorthodox catching the ball back there.
Grounded, and there's Scales with a routine chance here for the third out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. Nothing after 1.
Hey, we want to say a big thanks to Chevy for being a proud sponsor of youth baseball programs throughout the state of Texas. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy's commitment to youth baseball programs, you need to go online and go to ChevyTexasBaseball.com. Brownie, back up to you.
Thank you, Bart. We know we'll be bouncing back to you very soon. Bobby Scales leads it off. Scoreless game through 1. Scales quite a story the first time he came to the big leagues. Now he takes a look at that pitch, and it's ball 1 to Bobby. Signed as a free agent with the Cubs in December of 2007. Made his major league debut last year following 11+ minor league seasons. One of those feel-good stories. 2 balls, no strikes. He is 2 for 10 in this stint with Chicago. And last year he was up 3 different times with the Cubs, appearing in 51 games. Played left field, second base, third base, and right field. Fouls it back. Now it's 2 balls and 1 strike for Bud Norris. Bud's made 26 starts. The Astros record in those 26 games is 14-12. Now the count runs to 3-1. Drafted by the Padres way back in '99. Then he joined the Cubs. Made it to the big leagues finally. And now he has a leadoff walk. That's walk number 3 for Norris.
But continues to miss that outside corner. So, again, he's going to have to make some kind of an adjustment. And whether it's throwing more sliders, or starting the ball more to the other side of the plate, maybe get Jason Castro to sit out there, see if you can influence the umpire a little bit.
29 pitches into the game. Bud faces Wellington Castillo, the 23-year-old catcher from the Dominican Republic. Castillo looks at a good pitch. There's strike one on the corner. .313 his average. 1 homer. He's driven in 4. Castillo's had just 16 at-bats. Last year played at AA Tennessee with a .232 average. And the throw goes over to first on Scales. Castillo making his second stint with the Cubs this year. He was up for a couple of weeks in August. Made his major league debut in San Francisco, going 1 for 3 as the starting catcher. 0-2. Got his first hit off Barry Zito.
Well, Astros came in late last night after a night game in Cincinnati. The Cubs likewise played a night game, or a late afternoon game anyway, in San Diego.
That's ripped to left center field. Castillo with a gapper. Chased down by Michaels. And here is Scales coming in to make it 1-0 on an RBI double by Castillo. His 4th double, RBI number 5. Well hit ball. 1-0 Cubs.
Bud able to pitch around those walks in the first inning, but this leadoff double here comes back to bite him. As Castillo rocks this ball into the alley in left center. Nice swing of the bat there.
Jason Michaels played to Karam. Now Castillo at second. Casey Coleman, the pitcher's batting. The Astros corner infielders creep in. He bunts it. And Bud Norris throws to Keppinger covering. Sacrifice for Coleman, his second of the year. Gets Castillo to third, 1 out.
This day in Astros history is brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. October 1st, 2005, the Astros clinch at least a tie for the wild card with a 3-1 win over the Chicago Cubs. And Craig Biggio sets a new career high with his 26th home run. Remember that like it was 5 years ago.
Yeah. Astros infielders come halfway in. The middle infielders do. There's the way the infield looks. 1 out, and Sam Fold, the batter. He grounded out to short. And it's ball 1 to Fold.
They don't want to just lay all the way back in the middle. That will make it easy for Castillo to score on a ground ball. He's not a real speedy guy, so they cheat in a little bit, and they're going to make him read the ball off the bat.
1 ball and 1 strike to Fold. Marlon Byrd is the usual center fielder. He's had a nice year. Mike Quade taking a look at this left-handed hitter.
Fold was diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 10. His mom was, I don't know if she still is, a state senator back in New Hampshire. His dad was the dean at the University of New Hampshire.
Well, that explains a little bit his degree from Stanford then. And Fold strikes out as the Stanford catcher. Jason Castro reaches up. Jason's headed for Stanford again soon.
Just a good power fastball. Front foot slips on him, then the hand slips on him.
slippery slope. Darwin Barney struck out in the first inning. Norris delivers, and there's ball one. Cincinnati leads Milwaukee 2-0. They're in the bottom of the fifth at Great American Ballpark. Wood starting for Cincinnati tonight in a final tune-up for the playoffs. In the dirt, that slider produces a strike on a swing by Barney, and it's a 1-1 count. Phillies are trailing Atlanta 1-0 after 3. Philadelphia electing to pitch Kyle Kendrick and not Roy Halladay tonight. Charlie Manuel has not announced the rotation for the rest of the weekend, but according to stories, it would be a big surprise to see Roy Oswalt pitch in that series. And Cole Hamels may not throw either, depending on whether the Braves are still alive or not. The Braves very much alive right now behind Brandon Beachy, who has 3 scoreless innings under his belt. Fly ball, and coming in, Bourgeois in right center field. And in the third inning, it's 1 run, 1 hit. 1 man left for the Cubs. They lead it 1-0.
Half inning, gifts from Guy Lewis, Citgo, Kielbasa, Bubbles Car Wash, and many, many more. Astros.com would be the place to go for tickets.
These folks enjoying their tickets tonight. It's 1-0 Cubs. They'll enjoy a little bit more if Jeff Plum gets on. There's ball 1 to Blummer. 263, 2 homers, 22 runs batted in for Jeff. Getting the call at shortstop tonight. Going to be followed by Michaels and Johnson in this inning. Coleman hits the strike zone and evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Playing time reduced significantly for Blummer in the second half of the season with the Tommy Manzella coming back and Angel Sanchez being picked up.
Well, it shows no ill effects. Looping a hit to right center, taking a big turn. And even though he had not played since September 25th at Pittsburgh, he gets the single.
No, as a matter of fact, not only is it not showing ill effects, it seems to be a good fit for him. He's got long stretches without a start, and the at-bats have come few and far between as well, but he continues to get good swings. He's been good in that pinch hit role this year, among the leaders in RBIs in the pinch.
Well, last time he started was the opener of that road trip in Washington, and he hit a homer and drove in 3 in that last start. He's aboard now for Jason Michaels. Blum and Michaels will be awaiting decisions from the Astros on whether they're part of the club for next year. They're strike one. 250, 8 homers for Jason, 26 runs batted in. And they have been 2 guys who have been exemplary in the clubhouse for the young players, and they perform well on the field this year. And 2 guys who can have those limited roles and still be productive. Bouncer back to Coleman. He'll go to short and then on to first. Darwin Barney turning the 1-6-3 double play.
So all the outs so far coming on the ground. Coleman gets this little one hopper, very convenient, chest high hop, starts the easy double play. Yeah, if the option on Jeff Blum is a mutual option, but Blummer has said he would love to come back, and I think Jason Michaels is of the same mind. Club option that must be exercised within 3 days of the end of the World Series.
So we may be seeing them next year. They've been good guys and just really know the game. There's ball one. Chris Johnson, 11 homers, 51 runs batted in, a .312 batting average, kind of stabilizing influences for the young players. Each organization has decisions to make, though, about players who have been around for a long time in the big leagues, whether they fit into the fabric of next year's team or not. And those decisions are coming quickly. New timetable now for free agency. Fly ball to center field. Fold comes in. Now he jammed on the brakes and made the catch. No runs a hit, nobody left. After 2, it's 1-0 Cubs.
The Astros have a media wall of honor here up in the press box. As of yesterday, there were 3 members. Today, there is a 4th, and he is Mickey Herskowitz, the longtime sports writer here. I'm sure a lot of our fans remember Mickey quite well. You go into the wall of honor with Anita Martini, Gene Elston, and Neil Hofeld. Talk about the honor and what it means to you, Mickey.
Company. Thank you, Bart. It means so much because, first of all, the company that you're in, Anita, everyone knows, was a pioneer, paved the way for a lot of women today to have a presence in Major League professional sports. There was very little presence when she came along, and a lot of people have memories of her sitting outside the lunchroom where women weren't allowed. Yeah. They had to bring a tray of food out to her. Neil Hofeld was a terrific baseball reporter, very knowledgeable, and sadly passed away of a heart attack on vacation. And Gene Elston was the original voice of the Astros for so many years, 25, I think. And what a lucky franchise this has been to have a Milo Hamilton and a Gene Elston as their primary announcers. So it means a great deal to me, and I guess looking at it, I'm the first sports columnist and probably the only person still living who saw the opening and closing of the Colts Stadium and the opening and the closing of the Astrodome. But I think Minute Maid Park is probably going to outlast
You think
me.
so?
Bart.
Yeah. It's a pretty neat perspective because you were there when the Colt 45s played their first 3-game series against
the Chicago Cubs. Ron Santo, Billy Williams, and Ernie Banks, Hall of Famers. And the Astros, actually the Colt 45s, swept that series, starting 3 left-handed pitchers. The great Bobby Shantz, Hal Woodeschick, and Dean Stone. And at the end of their first series in Major League Baseball, they were leading the league.
Is that one of your favorite all-time stories? What's your favorite all-time story you covered?
Well, that was a great memory because think of it. It was the arrival of Major League Sports in Houston, or Major League Baseball. We had the Oilers and the American Football League not unanimously accepted as a major professional league. But baseball arriving was a big thing and a huge breakthrough for the city of Houston to have the city's dateline in newspapers all across the country. And then to win 3 games in a row, literally sweeping the Chicago Cubs with that history, was a great feat.
Well, he's been around Houston sports a long, long time. He is now in the Media Wall of Honor here. Congratulations, Mickey. Well deserved.
Thanks, Bart. A great treat for me and lovely to do an interview with you. Worked with your dad, as you know, many years ago.
One of my all-time favorite sports writers. Brownie, back up to you.
Yeah, he's a terrific guy and teaching now at Sam Houston State. 2 outs now, and it's Hoffpower batting. Hoffpower walked to load the bases in the first inning. Mickey's written over 50 books. Ball 1 to Hoffpower. Not all of them sports books either. He's a very well-versed writer. Strike, and that makes it a 1-ball-1-strike count. That's a really fine award, and
he's written more than a lot of people have read.
True. Nice to see that wall outside filling up with plaques. And it's 2 balls and a strike, and that's voted on, by the way, by the Houston media. And so there was that honor on the field before the game. Then the Astros honored their players of each decade as voted by the fans at Astros.com. On the field before the game, they all came out in cars and were dropped off around home plate. Of course, Nolan Ryan was one of them. He was unable to attend, but that's very understandable. Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio, Jose Cruz was down there, and Jimmy Wynn, all players of their decades. Grounded, and Keppinger to his left makes the flip over to Carlos Lee to retire Hoffpower. A 1-2-3 third for Bud Norris, a 1-0 lead for the Cubs. Averages with men on base. Josh Hamilton is number 1 at 388. Joey Votto second. Chris Johnson is third at 364. Then it's Neil Walker and Ramon Hernandez. Minimum of 150 plate appearances. Jason Castro leads it off, 1-0 Cubs. Bottom of the third. Ball one from Casey Coleman to Castro, a .204 hitter with 2 homers, 8 runs batted in. CJ has had a very, very good year. Popped up to shallow left field. Darwin Barney out near the line in left. That's one out. Just talking with Brad Mills about next year on the bench today with the media was interesting. Dave Raymond was crunching some numbers, and he brought it up to Brad Mills, where your club has been outscored by 115 runs this year. And according to the numbers put together by the Sabre Nutritionists, that means you should be not as well off as 9 games under 500. So to what do you attribute that? He said, well, I really don't get into that now, but in November I will. When I'm recuperating from knee surgery, I will go over things like that and try to figure out, is there a pattern here? Is there something we need to pay particular attention to? And the other thing he talked about was his conversations with the players. I think it was Brett Dolan said, do you have exit interviews with the players when they go home? He said, no, I don't like to do that, but we have talks with every player and just go over things. What was the players' input and impression of the way things went this year? And we'll just do it that way.
So they do, but they don't.
Right.
It's not a formal exit interview, but we'll have a conversation with each guy.
Exactly.
In the minor leagues, they do that too with every guy in the organization.
A shot, and it's caught on a line. The ball scalded by Bud Norris, but Scales was there. 2 outs.
That's a good swing of the bat. Scales able to handle that hot shot. Tomorrow, it's a 6:05 game, and the first 10,000 fans will receive a Craig Biggio bobblehead. That's courtesy of Cons. It's the first 10,000 through the turnstiles here at Minute Maid Park. Before the game will be the minor league MVP ceremony as well.
Jason Bourgeois takes strike 1. He bounced out to short earlier. The Astros have the worst on base average at home in the National League, 304. 1 ball, 1 strike. They are 15th in runs scored. And yet they have a winning record at home, 41-37. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We talked about the last several years. The majority of the time the Astros have gotten off to subpar starts. April and May we're talking about, not just the first 2 weeks of the season. So can that be addressed in any meaningful way? Should it be addressed? There are new players, there are younger players now, and that'll all be discussed, of course, over the winter. But that was the intent this year. That's strike 3, and that's the first strikeout for Coleman. After 3, it's 1-0 Cubs. wishes. James Lawrence. Jimmy Carter. Well, Nicole Eschenfelder. Nicole, happy birthday. She was born in '96.
Happy birthday, Nicole. Your dad should show you a big party. Get you a pony.
Is that pony going to graze in your backyard, JD?
Kevin's got a lot of room out there.
He does. Okay.
Down the road, yeah.
Okay. There's ball 1 to Snyder. 1-0 Cubs. Snyder was caught looking with the bases loaded to end the Cubs' first inning. Let's see. Kevin's had a lot of birthdays in his household now. I had Jake a few weeks ago. Now Nicole.
So 96, so she's 14. She's getting close to it. She'll be driving next year. She'll get a permit next year.
No wonder Kevin looks worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang with him, pal. Don't give up the ship, Kevin. That's what James Lawrence said. The first guy on our birthday list. Yeah, he was the captain of the USS Chesapeake in 1813. His dying words, don't give up the ship.
And did they give up the ship?
I don't know. Let's hope not.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He went down with the ship, obviously. Snyder strikes out. That's number 5 for Bud Norris. And Bud locking things in after struggling to hit that strike zone in the first inning with 2 walks, and then he walked the leadoff man in the second. Had a lot of run on that pitch, JD.
Well, you see where Castro set up. He set up inside, and the ball runs out of way, so he didn't hit his spot, but just setting up in there, starting it in there, he's got a better chance of keeping it in the strike zone if that's the intent. Sometimes you want to start the ball on the plate and run it off. Other times you want to throw it in the zone.
Scales fouls it. There's strike 1 to Bobby. Phillies got 2 in the top of the 4th to lead the Braves now 2-1 with Kyle Kendrick pitching against Brandon Beachy.
We were talking last inning about the Astros and the makeup of their club next year, and I think that's the big decision for Ed Wade now with this somewhat of a turnaround in the second half. Do you accelerate the rebuilding program? Do you think you have a chance to be competitive next year? And do you go out and acquire players to try to get you over the hump? Or do you say, wait a minute, we don't want to get too crazy here. We had a nice run, but we're still a couple of years away from where we want to be. So we're going to let these kids play and just kind of move forward that way. Because I don't think as the team is currently constituted, there's just not enough firepower with this club to compete. I mean, they'd have to pitch like crazy. I mean, it's possible. But if you're thinking about contending for the division next year, I think you're going to have to go find some free agents that can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Swing and a miss at a slider, and Scales goes to 2-2. Well, the Astros are last in homers. They've hit 107.
So, the problems that were there in the first half have been somewhat masked because the pitching has been so good in the second half. It's still a team that doesn't walk enough, and it's a team that doesn't hit enough home runs. So the question is, are the guys that you have here capable of doing that a couple of years down the road?
Right.
And for my money, I think it's worth finding that out. And if for whatever reason, if you play really well early next year and you find yourself in the race, and maybe you can make a deal or two. Kind of get in a go-for-it mode.
Mm-hmm. What could Brett Wallace do if he got 400 at-bats? Those questions will be discussed, I'm sure. There's a 1-out walk to Scales.
And the answer to that is nobody knows.
No.
He hasn't had enough at-bats this year, and he hasn't had enough success where you can project, okay, here's what we got, and give him X number of at-bats next year, and you can anticipate this kind of production.
Mm-hmm. Scales aboard. Castillo smacked him home with an RBI double in the second inning to left center field. Well, just looking at numbers does not give you the full read. But what you would see for the Astros offensively from doing that would be a team that's last in the league in on-base and slugging, next to last in runs scored, last in homers, last in walks. Castillo with strike 1. So obviously there are issues offensively. And usually you'd say you need a different type of player unless you think that the young guys can really progress and walk more often than they have and hit for more power than they have.
Right. So that's, and again, so you get back to the question, is next year another year of development, or because you've pitched so well the second half of this year, do you think you have a chance to compete? And you go outside of the organization and sign some free agents, and in doing that, you spend more money than you probably want to spend, with no guarantees.
Right. Jeff Blum out for the pop-up, and in left center, he handles out number 2. I just happen to be looking at the list of potential free agent outfielders today, and other than Carl Crawford, it is not a glittering list. Casey Coleman comes up. He put down a sac bunt in the second inning.
Yeah, and I don't. The other problem is the Astros probably aren't close enough where you feel like they're one guy away, one big bat. I mean, he certainly helped.
That's a foul ball. Chris Johnson watches it drift out of play.
I think the thinking is more in line with what went on in San Diego this year, where you say, hey, look, we got a chance to have a real good rotation and a very good bullpen. Let's make that our emphasis. Go to battle with that early next year and see how far that'll take us.
Mm-hmm. Having just seen that Cincinnati club, we saw a lot of power on that team. That's a strike, and it's 0-2. So just trying to measure up against the best in this division is something that a general manager might take a look at. Even though there are only a certain number of games against that particular team, the Astros would seem to be searching for more power and guys who get on base at a higher clip. And by power, we don't just mean homers. Could be doubles, triples. A guy like Andrew Jones figures to be a free agent, but that's a high risk, depending on what the price is for somebody like Andrew. Probably not the answer in this particular situation at this time. One ball, 2 strikes to Casey Coleman. Fouls it back. And, it's interesting to look at guys like Jim Thome, too, who's done very well with the Minnesota Twins this year. But you're right. If a team is in that situation of being, a contending team, maybe adding one player who's a veteran who may be over the hill but still can contribute something to help you out, that makes more sense for a contending team like that.
Absolutely. Well, why? If you're not ready to contend, why bring a player like that who's just going to take at bats away from a young guy you're trying to develop?
The Astros do seem to be pretty well stacked up with bullpen arms. They have some depth. That's driven to right field. Hunter Pence turning on it, way back. That bounces and kicks off to the right. They carry him off the wall, and Scales comes around to score to make it 2-0 Cubs. RBI double for Coleman. He hit a bolt.
That's one of the best at bats you're ever going to see from an 0-56 hitter. It was 1 out of 18 prior to that swing of the bat, and not just that swing, but the entire at bat. He's kind of doing his rock through thing, fouling some balls off, sitting on that back leg, and then he got through one. Boy, he really pumped that one.
Sure did. Scales has walked twice and scored twice, and it's 2-0 Cubs. Sam Fuld takes ball 1. He's grounded out and struck out. The pitcher has to love seeing an outfielder scurry back like that for an unexpected deep drive that turns into a double and an RBI. Second RBI for Coleman. He's got a sac bunt and an RBI double tonight. And he's pitching a shutout. Very good start to this game for Casey. 75 pitches, 42 have been strikes for Bud. JD, how many times did you watch an outfielder turn and run?
Brownie, when I got him, they didn't even bother turning around.
Okay.
It wasn't even worth it.
Didn't even move.
Just stood there and watched it fly overhead.
Yeah. That smack foul. When you were pitching and somebody ripped one and an outfielder never turned, did you have a problem with that?
I did, yeah.
I did. I don't blame you.
The worst was in the outfielder would just kind of stand there with his hands on his hips or his hands on his knees and wouldn't even raise up out of this ready position. Maybe just tilt his head back like that and watch it fly over. He always wanted the token effort.
Yeah.
Like there was a chance it might stay in the ballpark.
Turn, take a step or two.
Yeah, not the, oh my goodness, he just hit that ball 600 feet.
That is not worthy of my making a move. 3-1 for Bud Norris.
That's why I always enjoyed watching Miggy play shortstop when he would jump for those balls 30 feet over his head.
That's another walk, and they are mounting. That's number 5.
Well, Jason Castro and home plate umpire David Arackley having a conversation right now. They're just not giving any quarter there on that outside edge.
All right, so if that's the case, what do you do to adjust?
Well, yeah, as I talked about earlier. I mean, one thing I would move Jason out a little bit and see if you could influence the umpire, because sometimes the umpire isn't so much looking at the plate, he's looking at where the catcher catches it. And if you have to reach across your body or reach out to get it, you don't get the call. But if you're sitting out there, you might.
Move out there.
The thing about Bud is, he doesn't have to pick at corners because he throws 95 and he has good movement. So he can be, especially against some of the hitters in this lineup, guys like Fold and Scales and Barney, they're not power hitters. Go ahead and just throw it at the middle of the plate.
In the last 2, Castro has moved outside, but the ball's leaked back over the plate both times.
Yeah, and for me, it's the pitch he's having a hard time getting called is with the left-handed hitters up there when he's trying to throw it to the outside corner.
Right.
It's the one that's running off the corner. And that's one thing that Brad Arnsberg's talked all year long about with Bud is trying to get his arm angle a little higher so he gets good sink on his fastball, but maybe not as much run, so it stays on the plate. Ooh, that's a slider right down the middle. And I suspect that Rackley's hearing a little something from the Astros dugout.
You know it. 1-2. He must have had that high.
It's in the zone.
Fox strikes. Right there at the top of the zone. And a little tap to shortstop brings Blum in. Quick throw over to Carlos Lee. In the 4th inning, the Cubs tally a run on 1 hit. They leave 2. It's 2-0 Chicago. That record has.
Welcome back to Minute Maid Park, 2-0 Cubs as we move to the bottom of the fourth. Hey, we want to thank you for voting for the Gatorade replay, and fans have voted for Humberto Quintero, picking off Jason Worth at second base in Philadelphia. One of the more bizarre plays we've seen there. Great play by Q. Hey, folks, thanks for voting. That's your favorite replay. Brownie, back to you.
That was a beauty. Thanks, Bart. 2-0 Cubs. Keppinger, Pence, and Lee due up in the home fourth inning against Casey Coleman, who's really having a night of it so far. Pitched 3 innings of shutout ball. He has had a sacrifice bunt and an RBI double. Quintero has picked off 7 this year.
Yeah, we're never tired of watching that one. It's so unique to see a runner picked off on an intentional walk.
Strike 1 to Keppinger. The Astros got a 2-out infield hit from Hunter Pence, and then Jeff Blum singled to open the second inning, but he was erased on a double play ball back to Coleman. This fly ball heads for the center fielder. It's shallow. Fold coming in and handles out number 1.
Well, the Astros 3-7 on the road trip. Did not finish well in Cincinnati offensively. They won the one game 2-zip. Nelson Figueroa pitched 6 2/3 of scoreless baseball. But in that series in Philadelphia, they managed, or Cincinnati rather, they managed to score 5 runs in the 3 ball games.
That all wound up part of a 3-7 road trip. And for the season, they finished 34-47 away from Minute Maid Park. Hunter Pence ripped a ball at scales and reached on what was ruled an infield hit. Then a throwing error sent him to second base. His ball 1 to Hunter. Cincinnati currently leads Milwaukee 3-2. They're in the top of the 7th inning. Ricky Weeks hit his 29th home run. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Pirates lead 5-1 at Florida, bottom of the 8th inning. Alvarez hit his 16th for Pittsburgh. Snyder number 15. That's hit well to center. Fold heading back. Turning now at the track. 2 outs.
Nice break there by Fold on that ball. Looked like maybe extra bases for Hunter, but he got a nice break on it. Well, the Pirates could win their 17th road game of the year tonight.
Oh, my gosh.
16 and 50-something on the road. There's a play by Fold. Double, possible triple. It's taken away there. Pittsburgh Pirates 16 and 62 on the road. Boy, a lot of talent though on display. I was looking at the box score from that game today. With the Marlins with Stanton and Sanchez and Morrison, Maben, and then the Pirates with all those youngsters. A lot of good young talent in that series.
Absolutely. 1-1 to Carlos Lee. He grounded out earlier. Washington won. The Mets won. Bottom of the 8th inning. Mike Morse hit his 14th for the Nationals. Ike Davis, number 19, for the Mets. Apparently he's being regarded by the statistical experts as the best fielding first baseman in the National League this year. Ike Davis. Phillies 2, Braves 1. Bottom of the 5th in Atlanta.
Reports out of New York that both Jerry Manuel and Omar Minaya will not be back next year. No announcement from the Mets, but information starting to leak.
A drive to left field, headed for the corner, brings over Soriano, running right in front of that big wall and making the grab as he closes in on the wall in foul territory. For 1-2-3 fourth, 2-0 Cubs. Sports Houston is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Gullo Ford and Gullo Toyota, who bring you the fifth inning. As the fifth inning arrives here in downtown Houston, is that a full moon we have tonight?
That is a neat shot.
That it is.
Like Hogwarts.
2-0 Cubs. Blake DeWitt looks at ball one. He singled to right and he struck out. Bud Norris running a high pitch count at 82 so far for the game. He's walked 5.
Well, there we go again. He just keeps trying to catch that edge, and whether he's getting it or not, he's not getting it called.
That's hit foul, left field side, and the count goes to 2-1. Cubs have won 17 of their last 21 road games. Only the Phillies have been better on the road in Major League Baseball since mid-August than the Cubs 17-4. And only the Seattle Mariners have had more games scoring less than 2 runs this season. The Cubs have had 38 of those. Foul ball, first base side. Bobby Dernier is the first base coach. Two and two. That should be a big weekend here. Special prices for the fans. And the Astros minor league MVPs will be honored before the game tomorrow night. 6:05 start tomorrow night. There's a play to the backhand side. Carlos Lee tossing. Bud Norris taking that toss. 3-1 play, 1 out. It'll be Jay Happ and Carlos Zambrano tomorrow night. Zambrano, since he returned to the rotation, has made 10 starts. He's 7-0 with a 1.27 ERA. Norris gets over to cover, and it's Soriano next. He walked and grounded out. San Diego and San Francisco later tonight.
Yeah, San Diego just lost 3 out of 4 to the Cubs in San Diego. Critical blow delivered by the Cubs. Not fatal, but critical. San Diego's got to sweep the Giants this weekend to force a tie out west. Of course, they still have a shot at the wild card, but they're a couple games behind Atlanta.
That's right. This is the first time the Padres have trailed by 3 games in the standings since April 17th. There they are, 3 games out with 3 to go. Padres do have the tiebreaker over the Giants if they wind up in a tie in head-to-head play.
And it's obviously critical for the Padres, but the Giants, they want to win this thing tonight and not have to use Lincecum. Lincecum's available to pitch on Sunday if need be, but obviously Bruce Bochy would rather not do that. I'd like to have him ready to go for game 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's very big right now.
As you mentioned earlier, the Phillies have opted to rest Oswalt and Halladay this weekend. Cole Hamels scheduled to pitch Sunday. Vance Worley, I believe, pitches tomorrow for Philadelphia. And Joe Madden's going to use David Price out of the bullpen tomorrow.
Interesting.
Just to get him on the mound instead of starting him, just get him an inning or 2, I guess, is the thinking.
Soriano takes a walk. That is number 6, and that's a season high for Bud Norris.
2 walks in a game might be a season high for Soriano, too. He doesn't walk much.
David Rackley is up from the International League. It's his 7th year of professional baseball. He's an instructor at the Harry Wendelstedt Umpire School. He's calling the game tonight. Michael Hoffpauer's 0 for 1 with a walk. There's strike 1. Now the Padres have dropped 4 of their last 5 by a combined score of 19-7. And San Diego has been shut out 8 times since the All-Star break, facing a guy who really has it going right now tonight in Matt Cain. Clayton Richard goes for the Padres tonight. Cain has been known as a tough luck guy.
Wow. This guy, Rackley, man, you've got to open up that zone. Come on, David.
He is not opening it up. You see Fox Track shows it was right on the borderline. Cain is 13-10 at 2.95 ERA. He's looking like a very good playoff pitcher at the moment. Cain in his last 7 starts is 4-0 with a 2.45. Tough guy to face tonight.
Dangerous club. Giants in the postseason with that pitching, and their offense much improved since the beginning of the season.
They got Andres Torres back and hitting well now.
Buster Posey,
Sandoval.
Sandoval hit one in the river, or the in the bay.
Yeah,
the Covey Cove last night. The river.
Sure did.
He hit one out there in the Pacific River.
Kind of looks like a river. It's pretty small out there. The kayakers are back. They hadn't been out there for a while. Other than Aubrey Huff sending them a few. Kind of a lonely time in Covey Cove this year. Foul back, and it's still 1-2 to Hoffpower. Final weekend of the regular season. Players will be scattering. Many of them will take off on Sunday after the game. And Mike Quade will wait to see if he's going to be the skipper of this Chicago team next year. Well, with the club 22-12 since he took over, that puts him in very good stead.
Yeah, if I had to handicap it, I'd make him better than even odds right now.
Yeah.
I like his chances.
Just from what we're hearing from people. That one goes foul. Of course, the owner, Mr. Tom Ricketts, has the call on that, but Jim Hendry has been rounding up candidates, and he has interviewed Ryan Sandberg in Arizona. Bob Brenly is next door doing TV for the Cubs. He's bowed out of the search.
Oh. Wow. Look at that. There must have been 22 people that took a shot at that ball.
Very elusive down the right field line. And the throw goes over. Ooh. Yeah, that's a little bit closer than the Cubs probably would like it to be, as Soriano's tagged. Mike Quade is 53 years old, born in Evanston, Illinois. Right in the Chicago area. Ground ball. Cappinger to Blum. Blum on to Lee. And it's a 4-6-3 double play. In the middle of the 5th inning, the Cubs lead the Astros 2-0. 5. And nobody warming up in the Houston bullpen as Jeff Blum leads it off and takes ball 1 from Casey Coleman. Jeff led off the second inning and singled to right center field. One of 2 Houston hits through the first 4. And Coleman has not walked anybody. Norris has walked 6. That's hit foul. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Now they get a foul ball. Coleman has won back-to-back starts in Florida.
That's the same guy that took the swipe on it earlier. Oh, man, in your face.
Yeah. He got fired up by that earlier miss. There's another one. This one goes over the Astros dugout. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
You see where Cal cut their baseball program.
Didn't see that.
Yeah. 118 years they had college baseball at Cal.
Reason given?
Money.
Okay. And I'd love to see what other sports they have there now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But the problem is, well, I don't know what kind of a revenue producer baseball is at Cal.
I don't think it's much of a revenue producer in most schools.
Right. Fly ball into left center field. That's a hit. And Blummer is 2 for 2. He's gone to right center and to left center. And he's aboard for Jason Michaels.
The T.O.B., a thing of beauty right there. Finish with the flourish. Salary drive.
Hits are even at 3 now. Jason Michaels grounded back to the pitcher Coleman. He turned it into a 1-6-3 double play. And delivers strike 1. Casey was the Cubs minor league pitcher of the year last year. He went to Florida Gulf Coast University in Fort Myers. In his hometown. Going to first.
Ooh, man, quick feet.
His father Joe was an all-star in '72 with the Tigers.
And Jeff, not really a base stealer. Coleman's going to keep an eye on him anyway.
Inside to Michaels, it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. His grandfather Joe had a 10-year major league career, and he was an all-star. 1948, so the pressure's on Casey. He's got a grandfather and a father, both of whom were all-stars in the major leagues. Casey turned 23 in July.
Well, you think about baseball families, the Boones, 3 generations. And they were all all-stars, right? Ray, yeah. Bob, and Brett. So. I'm not sure about Aaron.
Line shot left field corner. Blum heads for third base. Michaels turns for second base. Dave Clark is going to hold Blum at third on a double by Michaels.
At the beginning of the ball game, Casey Coleman was getting all of his outs on the ground. Last inning, the Astros started to get the ball airborne. Pence hit that deep drive to center field. Clevenger flew out to center, and now Blum able to lift that ball. A little blooper, but Jason Michaels probably with the best swing of the bat for the Astros so far tonight. Line drive double in the left field corner, so they a little something going here. A couple of ducks on the pond, nobody out. Showed you that graphic earlier. Chris Johnson among the major league leaders in batting with runners in scoring position.
Runners at second and third now. The infield lays back, and there's strike 1.
And for what it's worth, he has absolutely worn out the Cubs this year, hitting better than .370 against them.
He is 2 for 3 with a homer against Coleman. 1-ball, 1-strike. Buster Posey leads Chris by 1 point among the rookie batting leaders in the National League, 313 to 312 coming into this game. That's caught. A liner, but Hoffpower moved over to his right, got up in the air and caught it. Looked like it might make it into shallow right field. The second baseman, DeWitt, was moving that way. It's out number 1.
Nice play here by Hoffpower, because off the bat he probably thought it was hit a little bit better than it was, so he had to wait and then time his, well, leap is too strong of a word, had to time his move upward to haul that in.
Sometimes when you're running sideways, though, it's tough to jump. Jason Castro popped to short in the 3rd inning.
I always found jumping tough regardless of the situation.
Yeah. Really. Strike to Castro. Atlanta just got a run in the 5th to tie the Phillies 2-2 after 5. Peter Moylan in the game for Brandon Beachy. It's 1-1. A big weekend for the Braves. Is it the farewell for Bobby Cox, or do they go to the playoffs? There's a lot riding on this weekend in Atlanta, and the Braves taking on the best team in the National League right now, the Phillies, but in Atlanta where they have a great record.
So I guess there's the possibility of a 1-game playoff between Atlanta and San Diego for the wild card still exists too.
Yeah.
It's at a 2-game spread right now, right?
Right. Yeah, still some intriguing possibilities here with 3 games remaining. Should be fun to watch it all unfold.
No, I guess that couldn't happen.
No?
Well, you look at all the different scenarios. Braves have 90 wins, so the Braves would have to get swept this weekend, and San Diego win 2 out of 3, and they both would finish with 90 wins.
Okay.
If San Diego were to sweep the series in San Francisco, San Diego and San Francisco would have 91 wins. And if Atlanta were to be swept, they would be out. Both the West Coast teams would be in. But if Atlanta were to win once, they would play San Francisco because San Diego wins the tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
So San Diego would claim the division, and then San Francisco would have to play off against Atlanta for the wild card.
That's why, as you mentioned, the Giants want to clinch it tonight.
There's just so many possibilities.
Yeah. Castro fouls it back. Players don't know whether they're packing for the East Coast or staying home for the beginning of the playoffs. There's a lot that, the Phillies already have the home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but these other teams really don't know.
Yeah. Are we going to Philly? Are we going to San Diego? Are we going to Atlanta? Or are we going home?
That's a lot to muddle around in your head. I'm not thinking about it.
The toughest job is the traveling secretary.
Oh, yeah.
Got to make reservations at 3 different spots.
Absolutely.
Just in case.
That's a very difficult assignment. 3-2 now to Castro with Norris on deck. An opportunity here for Jason to pick on a pitch and hit it hard somewhere. And he takes a walk to load the bases for Norris. 22nd walk for Castro.
Scott's products keep your lawn lush and green. Visit Lowe's for a chance to win a VIP World Series experience. Compliments of Scott. Boy, I could use some of that.
Well, as of Monday, you'll have plenty of time to take care of that, JD.
Yeah.
Larry Rothschild, though, concerned with this bases loaded 1-out situation with Norris the batter. And Bud hit a line drive to third in the 3rd inning. Jason Bourgeois on deck. It was Coleman who doubled in a run in the 4th inning. And now his mound opponent comes up. He has thrown 65 pitches in this game, 20 of them here.
This is Bud's final start of the year. I think that's why he's getting this at bat right here. I think if this were a meaningful game in September, Brad Mills would be pinch hitting right here. Let's give Bud a chance to go out with a W.
Takes ball 1. Bud is 0 for 1 with the bases loaded this year. He's driven in 2 runs. Blum, Michaels, and Castro hoping he can come through. But he swings over that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sometimes you're lucky if you don't make contact because it might have been a double play. Good Friday night. Fans will get treated to fireworks after the game. It's a beautiful evening to be out.
Yeah, roof open tonight. Folks out on top of Union Station. Suspect the roof will be open again tomorrow. I'm not so sure about the day game on Sunday.
Ground ball in the third baseman's left. Scales gets it to second, and the relay to first by DeWitt. That makes it a 5-4-3 double play. Just exactly what Coleman was hoping for. And it's no runs. 2 hits, 2 left for the Astros. After 5, 2-0 Cubs. Bud Norris said the ball moving tonight. Sometimes a swing and a miss as he got there, but he's also danced around 6 walks in this game. He got a double play ball. He has piled up 5 strikeouts. It's been a high maximum effort type game for Bud Norris. The Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by the Frostproof Coors Light.
It's been a very frustrating game for him. I'm sure he would tell you afterwards that he thought a lot of those pitches that were being called balls were in the zone. And so he's had to work from behind. He's had all the walks, but the bottom line is he's allowed just the 2 runs. And, of course, adding to his frustration, that ground ball double play he hit into to end the last inning. Best scoring chance the Astros have had, not just tonight, but since Jeff Keppinger's home run in the 3rd inning. Remember, they went down 19 consecutive outs after Keppinger's home run in the 3rd last night. So just not making a lot of noise until that 5th inning chance.
Brad Snyder fouls it. There's strike 1. He has whiffed both times tonight. All right, Cal Sports. Cal, by the way, apparently had a good enough baseball team. It was thought to be a strong contender for College World Series next year. Tennis, track and field, of course, water polo, crew, cross country, golf, gymnastics, rugby, soccer, things of that nature. Lacrosse, 0-2. But no more baseball.
Yeah, I don't know all the details behind the story. I just saw the headline that they were eliminating their baseball program for budgetary reasons.
Okay. Swing and a miss, and on the slider, there's a strikeout. That's 6 of each for Bud.
I think some well-heeled alum major leaguer would just pony up a bunch of money.
Well, let's see who on the Astros. Oh, never mind, Jeff.
Or we could turn to an ex-Astro, Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent also.
That's right.
He's got a lot of spare change. J.K. could fund the team and coach it.
There you go. Bobby Scales fouls it. There's strike one. He's walked twice and scored twice. The walks will haunt. Yes, it has come true in this game, very much so, with Scales in that 7th spot in the order.
Yeah, and there's some walks that are understandable and others are head scratchers. And again, this tight zone, part of it here tonight, but Scales is the type of guy you want to go after. So even if you feel like you're getting squeezed, he's the type of hitter should be willing to just pump one right through the heart of the zone.
It's a 1-1 count. Phillies are ruining the evening for Atlanta. They just got 5 in the top of the 6th inning, and they're still batting. Jimmy Rollins hit his 8th homer. One ball, 2 strikes. Carlos tossing that one over to a fan. Braves are 5 games behind the Phillies. The Phillies have won 95 games this year.
Looking strong heading into the postseason.
They really are.
Of course, the Cardinals were looking strong heading into the postseason last year. They were out in a hurry.
Especially that first round of the playoffs. I would really love to see that be made the best of 7. It can be over in a blur, even for a good team. You get a bad break or somebody's off his game and you're down 1-0, and now players start thinking, oh, we can't lose game 2 now, and it can go by in a flash. Best of 5. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
But back in the day,
yeah,
the LCS was a best of 5.
That's true.
And that was for the right to go to the World Series.
Mm-hmm. You are correct. And the reason I would like to see it be best of 7 is that baseball is such a marathon with 162 games. It rewards the teams that are best over the long haul. Now what you're going to do is reward them over the short haul.
Yeah, it changes the dynamic, and I'm not a big fan of that either. I like the idea of playing a longer series and playing every day if possible. Maybe one day for travel.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what baseball is all about, is how good are you, how deep is your rotation, the off days, allowing teams to use just a couple of starting pitchers in some instances, 3 at the most. I mean, the Phillies aren't going to go beyond 3 in the first round, with 2 off days scheduled. Right. I think there's 3 off days. There's 8 days in that series.
Yeah.
In a 5-game series.
That's right. That's the 3rd time Scales has walked tonight. The first 2 results not desirable at all for Bud Norris. Now he tries to get Castillo. He drove in Scales with a double in the 2nd inning and then popped up. He goes for the slider that time. It's strike 1.
I wonder if there was some formula in place where you just handicapped the series heavily towards the team that had a much better regular season. Reseed all the teams regardless if they're the wild card or not. 1 plays 4. You say the number 1 team won 100 games and the number 4 team won 87 games. Mm-hmm. Number 4 team gets no home games in the series.
Well,
something like that. And I'm just throwing that out there.
That's been advanced, or maybe 1.
Yeah.
None or 1 has been discussed as a possibility to give that team with the best record, reward that team.
They can't play with a right fielder for the first 5 innings.
Would have been fine for Nolan Ryan. Popped up. Castro underneath. And he takes care of out number 2.
Well, we know this much. There's going to be plenty of drama in October. There always is.
A little smile from Bud Norris there. And it's Casey Coleman coming up.
Yeah, Bud has kept his cool out there. Again, it has to be a very frustrating night for him. But he's maintained his composure. He has not been showing up the umpire.
Coleman hit a double over the head of Hunter Pence. Scales drawing a throw. And he has a sacrifice bunt. showing bunt here. He takes a strike. So just to probably try to get ahead in the count, he put that bat out there. And instead, he's behind in the count, 0-1. .111 pitches so far for Bud Norris. Bullpen getting busy for Houston now. Tim Burdack. Good pickup there by Castro on that one in the dirt. It's a 1-1 count. The Astros finished the month of September with a winning record of 14-13. They've had 3 consecutive winning months, and June was a 500 month, so 4 straight of 500 or better.
The Brewers have been playing pretty good baseball. They've passed the Astros now.
Yes.
Brewers winners of 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10, so they're a game ahead of the Astros. The Cubs trail Houston by 2, so if the Cubs were to sweep this weekend series, they would move ahead of the Astros as well, and Astros would finish 5th.
2-2.
I mean, doesn't really mean a whole lot, but in terms of promoting the team and selling tickets for next year, 3rd sounds a lot better than 5th.
Sure does. That's that little balcony out there around the ConocoPhillips pump. People love to hang out there. Kind of look over the shoulder of the center fielder. 3-2 now. It's an interesting vantage point.
But it's interesting. I've had a number of not really long conversations, but bumping into people on the road out of towners saying, "We love your ballpark."
Yeah. Jason Michaels comes in and left, and you can see why. Bud Norris puts up a 0 in the 6th inning. He's thrown 115 pitches. He trails 2-0.
And the Astros want to show their fans some love. So how about this, gang? $5 outfield or view deck 1 or 2 tickets for tomorrow or Sunday's games against the Cubs. As part of Fan Appreciation Weekend, the Astros want to say thanks to all their fans for their support. So to take advantage of this, go to astros.com/fans to get those $5 tickets, Brownie.
$5. Thank you, Bart. There is strike 1 now. Bottom of the 6th inning underway. Casey Coleman with a 2-0 lead, throwing that pitch to Jason Bourgeois, who's 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout looking. $5. Fly ball to center field, Fold waiting.
$5 ticket. You can park in a lot near the ballpark for $5.
Yeah, that's a very worthwhile entertainment price to pay for Major League Baseball.
Sit out and enjoy this nice weather.
It's gotten cooler since we left, and less humid. Jeff Keppinger grounded out, and he hit a fly ball to center. Not much doing here from the Astros' top 4 hitters. Only one has reached base. Keppinger takes ball 1. Reds 3, Braves 3. Top of the 9th in Cincinnati. Did I say Braves? Brewers 3.
Yeah, I thought you were flashing back to
I think
Orange Spawn. And
probably was. Let's make it Brewers 3, Reds 3, top of the 9th. Bouncer, foul third base side.
Adcock went deep.
Johnny Logan. Mets beat Washington 2-1. Abad is warming up for Houston. Phillies with that 5-run inning you saw in Atlanta, and that could really spoil the evening for Bobby Cox. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Flashing you back to last night in Cincinnati when it was Jeff Keppinger, the former Red, against Bronson Arroyo.
Took down a fastball, mid-thigh in a little bit. That was no doubter. Home run number 6 for Kep. That was the good news. The bad news is the Astros have not scored a run since then, like last night and tonight. Do it again.
Well, this fly ball will fall short of that mark. Soriano coming in left field. And it's 2 outs.
That's what happens when the team starts to go cold and they're not hitting. You want to hit your way out of it, and then you go after bad pitches. That would have been ball 4, and that's not Keppinger's game. Usually he's very disciplined.
Casey Coleman faces Hunter Pence. He ripped a ground ball off Bobby Scales' body, and then Scales launched it over the first baseman, Hoffpower, into the seats. So it was a single and an error. Then he hit a fly ball to center in the 4th. That's strike 1 to Hunter. Astros' record with the roof open here at Minute Maid Park this year is 7-13.
Close it.
1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore leads Detroit 2-1. Tigers batting top of the 9th inning. It's 2-1. Jimmy Rollins, who homered tonight for the Phillies, and it's now 7-2 Phillies, bottom of the 6th inning in Atlanta. Apparently will not hit leadoff in the playoffs. And won't be doing much running either. He's been bugged by leg injuries this year. Hot shot, diving Scales. It goes to shortstop. Here's the throw, not in time. Darwin Barney gave it his best effort. Scales unable to corral that hot grounder, and Hunter has hit a couple of scorchers to him tonight.
Two hits for Hunter, both of them off of Scales.
Carlos Lee is grounded out and fly to left. There's strike 1 for Coleman. He has 34 career long balls against the Cubs. 94 runs batted in for Carlos. 11 straight years with 20 homers and 80 runs batted in or more for Carlos. Only A-Rod has a longer streak.
Casey Coleman has allowed just 3 home runs this season. Pitched 55 innings at the big league level.
1-1. Jimmy Rollins' homer was a grand slam off Mike Dunn. And he is batting leadoff tonight, but the Phillies apparently don't plan to continue that in the playoffs. Broken bat looper, and Barney's there. In the 6th inning, no runs, a hit, a man stranded through 6, 2-0 Coleman and the Cubs. Jim Norris and the Astros. proud to support youth baseball programs in your community. Gorgeous night. Cubs 2, Astros nothing. The Astros make a pitching change. Bud Norris coming out after 6 innings of 3-hit, 2-run baseball. Walking 7, fanning 6. Fernando Abad, the rookie left-hander, will come in to work the 7th.
Fernando has been pretty solid so far this year in 20 games. 0-1, 3.06 his ERA, 17 2/3. Posted solid numbers, good control. Has very good command of his fastball on the arm side. That would be down and away to right-handed hitters. Very good at pounding away at that spot with the fastball. Good changeup. So Bud Norris, 9-9 coming into this ball game. Obviously cannot win it. He's looking for the bullpen to hold and the Astros to come back and get him off the hook, and you can finish the season with a .500 record.
Abad delivers ball 1 to Sam Fuld, is 0 for 2 with a walk.
There's 3 hits allowed by Bud tonight. For whatever reason, he couldn't throw a strike to Bobby Scales.
Strike makes it 1-1. Abad pitched a hitless inning Wednesday night in Cincinnati, and the Astros 2-0 win. He worked the 8th inning, setting it up for Brandon Lyons' 20th save of the year. The count goes to 2-1.
6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 7 walks, 6 strikeouts. Final line for Bud tonight.
That's to center field. Bourgeois backing. 1 out for Abad. Abad has retired the first batter 18 out of 21 times entering the ball game, putting him in good stead. And left-handed hitters are hitting only 192 off him. Energy Insight is brought to you by Centerpoint Energy. Bobby Scales, with those 3 walks, has scored after 2 of them. Casey Coleman has pitched well, including the 2 double play balls he has induced, and Bud Norris walked 7, most by an Astro this year. Darwin Barney takes a look at strike 1. Abad is one of those guys who intrigues a lot of people for next year in terms of late inning left-hander. He's come on quickly this season.
Yeah, I don't, and I would think that he would be used in a similar fashion next year because of the success he's had. As I watch him pitch, I'm intrigued by the possibilities of Abad as a starting pitcher. I like his repertoire, the good changeup, fastball command, and a good enough breaking ball. To me, it looks like he's got enough pitches where he could be a starting pitcher. Astros probably feel like they have enough depth there where they don't have to experiment with too many guys, but if he were interested, I would at least talk to him about maybe being in the mix for that fifth spot in the rotation next year.
Yeah,
just depends on where you see his value. If you're Brad Mills,
flared to right field, and Hunter Pence 2 down.
Don't know what's going to happen with Burdack, Wesley Wright, Chasteen.
Sure.
I do know this much: Brad Mills had to have enjoyed having more than one lefty out there in the pen, because for a long while that was the case. And nice to have a couple options.
Blake DeWitt singled in the first inning. He's 1 for 3. Well, he could, for instance, Abad could come into spring training being considered as a starter and then shifted over, of course, to relief later on in camp. There's strike 1. That happened this spring when the Astros were looking at options for the 5th starter spot, and they had 3 or 4 guys who were being stretched out. Dave Clark getting the treatment from Brett Myers there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave will be heading very soon for a winter baseball managing job in the Dominican Republic.
Well, Brett made his final start last night, so he probably figures he has to do a little something this weekend to contribute.
2-1. Unfortunately, he left 1 out short of 6 innings after going 6 innings in his first 32 starts, 6 or more. And he said after the game, he's just exhausted. 3 balls and a strike. Pitched about 70 innings last year and wound up with 223 this season. And there's a walk to DeWitt. Two-out base runner brings up Soriano.
Well, I think there's about a 78.9% chance that Soriano's going to, well, he's not going to swing it about. He's going to see a new pitcher. Soriano's walked twice tonight, so I got to believe he's up here hacking in this at bat.
Yeah. Does not often walk twice in one game. We'll see what follows next in just a moment. Throws nothing. Cubs have a 2-out base runner in the 7th inning, and that has prompted a pitching change, bringing in 25-year-old Mark Melanson.
Well, Brad Mills brings the righty out of the pen to deal with the dangerous right-handed hitting Alfonso Soriano. Melanson acquired in the deal with the Yankees for Lance Berkman, has pitched well, very similar work. Very similar numbers to what we showed you with Fernando Abad. 2.03 ERA for Melanson. It's a mid-90s fastball. Overhand curve.
Soriano might see a few of those curveballs here. He has walked twice and grounded out. And the fastball comes in for strike one. Melanson has allowed runs in each of his last 2 outings. Most recent one Sunday at Pittsburgh. He gave up 2 runs in 1/3 of an inning. But he left with 2 men on base who were charged to him when they scored later. Pitched a hitless inning at Chicago on September 7th. This one goes back in the seats, and it's no balls, 2 strikes for Mark Melanson.
This is where you want to be against Soriano. Get the jump on him and then expand the zone. And don't be afraid to really expand the zone. He's got great plate coverage. You can go lower than low or higher than high. See if you can get him to chase.
Well, he checked. Yeah. And fielded Lance Barrett, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bruce Chen is dialing it up for Kansas City against Tampa Bay, shutting out the Rays 7-0 Kansas City after 6. Tampa Bay tied with the Yankees for first. Looped over first base, and it dunks into right field for a single for Soriano. DeWitt hustles to third base, and it's 1st and 3rd, 2 outs.
Please. What is that?
That is a blooper.
Yeah, it's a smile. Well, they all count. Yankees and Red Sox have rain tonight in Boston. We looked at the schedule about a week ago, 10 days ago, and it was very favorable for Tampa in terms of the competition. They had a whole lot of Kansas City and Seattle, Baltimore down the stretch. Yankees had 2 series with Boston, including this one, to finish the season. Rays haven't really been able to take advantage. Got beat by the Royals last night. And I believe the Royals are the only team in the American League that they do not have a winning record against this year.
1-0 to Hoffpauir. 0 for 2 with a walk. That's kind of crazy. Two balls and no strikes from Mark Melancon. Mike Lepresti had an interesting column in USA Today. 30 teams, 30 statistical oddities. Tampa Bay Rays have had 61 crowds of more than 30,000 in their 13-year history. They played really well when they get a big crowd. They are 45-16 when they have a home crowd of more than 30,000. 2-1. But
no matter how the team is, how good they are, the folks just don't want to show up.
No. Okay, 61 crowds in 13 years of more than 30,000. That's 20 fewer than the Red Sox will have this year alone.
Yeah, sure.
Tap to the right side to Hopper. Capture to Lee. Melancon getting Hoffpauir to end the Cubs 7th. No runs, a hit. 2 men stranded. 2-0 Cubs. On 5 hits through 6. He got a huge double play ball with the bases loaded in the 5th inning. Second Baptist Church represented here. A group from Second Baptist sang the anthem.
The children's choir knocked it out of the ballpark.
Yeah. Sterling job. Jeff Blum has 2 of the Astros' 5 hits. Both have come leading off innings, and now for the 3rd time tonight he leads off an inning. Taking ball 1. He singled to right center in the 2nd, was erased on a double play ball. Singled to left center in the 5th, stranded on 3rd. And now he's worked the count to 2 balls, no strikes from Coleman. Jason Michaels, Chris Johnson to follow here in the Astros 7th inning. Cubs bullpen is busy. Coleman's thrown 83 pitches. And smack foul. 2-1. Fernando Abad in 2/3 of an inning, allowed no hits, no runs, had 1 walk, no strikeouts. Blummer trying to get something started. This Cubs pitching staff has been very good lately. The appeal went to third. He checked his swing on the call by Tim Timmons, and it's 3-1.
Carlos Zambrano tomorrow, and then veteran Ryan Dempster on Sunday for the Cubs.
Dempster's had a nice year.
Well, here's a little baseball trivia PhD level.
Okay.
Only 3 Canadian pitchers have posted 3 15-win seasons.
Fergie Jenkins.
Fergie Jenkins.
Okay.
Ryan Dempster. The third one's the tough one.
Fly ball caught by Soriano in left. Reggie Cleveland.
Russ Ford.
Never heard of him. When did he pitch?
I have no idea. Well, every 4th day, I'm guessing.
Russ Ford.
Russ Ford.
Ford. Okay.
He pitched whenever the skipper gave him the ball because he was a no-nonsense, tough-minded Canadian man.
That's great.
Russ Ford. We're going to find out.
Probably a hockey player. 1 out, and here's Jason Michaels. He bounced into a double play, and he ripped a double to left field.
Oh, my goodness.
Way back.
That was way back from 1909 to 1915. He pitched with the Yankees from 09 through 13. Well, probably the Highlanders back then.
Could have been. 2-0 to J. Mike.
He pitched a couple of years for Buffalo in the Federal League. So I guess the Federal League must have been considered a major league, at least for the purposes of that trivia question.
Yeah.
It was.
Okay. All right, we'll count it, sort of. Line shot again. Michaels will make another bid for a double. Soriano barehands it, fires to second base. J. Mike slides, and he's in there. 2 straight doubles. They've both been hard-hit liners to left.
The best chance for the Astros came in the 5th when Michaels doubled after the Blum single. CJ hit a soft liner to first. Castro walked, bases loaded, 1 out. Bud Norris grounded into a double play. So another opportunity now here with this 1-out double to get a little something going.
For the birthday boy, Chris Johnson. 26 today. He is fly to center, and he's lined to first. On a catch by Hoffpower. There's strike 1 to CJ.
Wow. Look at that impressive look. Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins celebrating a birthday today. Fidelis of Sigmaringen. He was a friar, Swedish friar. F-R-I-A-R.
Oh, not a fish fryer.
No.
Julie Andrews, Sound of Music fame. Maine and Mateo are warming up for the Cubs. Count 0-2. Way outside. Pitch count getting up close to 100. 94 so far for Coleman. He's into bonus time, certainly. Christopher O. Johnson. Born October 1st, 1984, Naples, Florida.
Christopher O. Johnson?
Yeah.
What's he O for?
Don't know. Strikeout, that's out number 2.
0 for 3 tonight.
Jason Castro popped the short, and he walked. I think it's a D. Is that a D?
I'm going to go, yeah, I think that's a D.
All right, it's a D, Johnson. Second strikeout for Coleman, and now Castro, who drew that walk back in the 5th inning. That loaded the bases, but then Norris grounded into a double play. Pitch to hit there, and he fouls it back. Strike 1. Cardinals 3, Rockies nothing. They've played 6 in St. Louis with Jake Westbrook on the mound against Jorge De La Rosa. Wilton Lopez is warming up for Houston. Throw to second, and he almost threw it into center field. Michael sliding back in. Wellington Castillo tried to pick him off.
Jason takes a big, aggressive secondary lead, but his eyes never leave the catcher.
Popped up foul. Castillo discards the helmet and is caught by the third sacker. Scales. No runs, a hit. A man stranded. It's 2-0 Cubs after 7.
It's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader beginning with the Panthers taking on Saints team who are looking to bounce back after a tough loss. Man, that was a tough one. Then the Redskins battle the Eagles. Donovan McNabb makes his return to Philadelphia. They'll be all fired up in the city of brotherly love. Its coverage begins Sunday at 11 with the Ford Fox NFL pregame show. It's brought to you by the all-new Ford Edge. Drive one.
Wilton Lopez is in the game. It's 2-0 Cubs. They scored in the second and fourth innings. Lopez is pitcher number 4 for the Astros. Mark Melanson in 1/3 of an inning allowed 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts.
This is Wilton's 5th trip to the mound, I believe, since a little 10-day, 2-week sabbatical. He shut down and regroup after what has been a very busy summer. 66 times, make it 67 now that he's trotted out there. Continues to impress.
He really does. He's been one of the discoveries the Astros have made this year, and one they will be counting upon for next year.
At 27 years of age, too. I mean, it was a waiver claim. This is just a great find. He obviously has surprised a lot of people in the baseball world.
The Astros took a little bit of a look at him last year. Nothing extensive, but he has really burst upon the scene with great success this season.
Well, the thing that's impressed me, I remember last year, even though the numbers weren't good, he had a real good sink on his fastball, and said this guy's got a chance. But he's got enough giddy up where he can just blow by you too from time to time.
Well, he sure can. 1-2, 27 years old. Lopez pitched twice in Cincinnati, twice in Pittsburgh on the road trip. Didn't give up any runs in any of those 4 outings. After the 2-week hiatus, JD talked about.
Mentioned his name to Brad Mills, and Millsy immediately starts to break into a smile.
Yeah.
He really likes this guy.
Well, he says Wilton breaks into a smile every time you see him.
Never has a bad day. Comes to the ballpark with a smile on his face. Always wants the ball.
The Mets got a run in the 10th and clipped Washington 2-1. Takahashi the winner. Clippard the loser. Baltimore beat Detroit 2-1. Crack bat. Nice backhanded pickup by Carlos. 1 out. Big guy moves pretty well around the bag.
It's a tough day for Schneider. When your best AB is a broken bat ground out to the first baseman, that's a bad day.
Yeah.
First 3 trips he punched out.
Yesterday he had the only RBI in a 1-0 win.
Baseball. It's a humbling game. From hero to zero, just like that.
We will go away, folks, after Sunday, we promise. Bobby Scales has walked 3 times and scored twice. That's a fly ball out into right center field, looping in for a single. And the Cubs get hit number 5. Castillo comes up next.
Tony Orlando and Don walked 3 times.
Twice on the pipe. Not sure how that works in.
No. Looks like he may be thinking about trying to steal a bag here, looking over at third base coach Ivan De Jesus.
Well, the twice on the pipe may involve De Jesus going to his windpipe twice on this series of signs. Castillo backs out of there now. He had the RBI double in the second. He's 1 for 3. Pittsburgh 5, Florida 1, a final, giving Chan Ho Park his 4th win. That's upstairs, and it's ball 1. Pitcher spot due up next. And Xavier Nady is on deck to pinch hit. Baltimore pummeled Detroit 10-6. Tillman beat Bonderman. Kelly got his 8th home run. Yankees in Boston still in a long rain delay. Pettit and Matsuzaka scheduled to pitch at Boston tonight with that tie in the standings in the AL East between the Yankees and the Rays. The Yankees have lost 6 of their last 8, and they allowed 34 home runs in September, 3rd most of any club in the majors. In the air on the right side, Keppinger.
That's a random factoid for you.
Okay.
You know that CC Sabathia is the first pitcher in Yankee history to lead the league in wins in back-to-back years?
No. That's crazy.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Very hard to believe. Andrew Kashner's warming up in the bullpen. Meanwhile, starting pitcher Casey Coleman comes out of the game for the pinch hitter. Xavier Nady, 188 is his pinch hit average with 1 homer and 6 runs batted in. Very nice evening for Coleman. Not only 7 innings of 6-hit shutout ball with only 1 walk and 2 strikeouts, 2 double play balls, but a sac bunt and an RBI double. Foul ball, strike 1.
He has earned himself a game ball with that performance. Maybe his 4th win. This is his 8th major league start.
Looks like a guy who would come to camp for the Cubs with a pretty good shot at being in that rotation next year. They strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes to Nady. Well, the Cubs have to be breathing a sigh of relief about Zambrano coming back so well. Big Z had just a marvelous month of September, and we'll see him tomorrow night. He has 13 career wins against the Astros. 1-2. Arizona got 2 in the first at Los Angeles. A big part of that Dodger future will be who owns the club for next year. Lined into center field. Nady went down and smacked it hard.
So the Dodgers, the McCourts, in this divorce proceeding.
Mm-hmm.
It's moved into an arbitration.
Yes, sir.
Who will either rule in her favor or his favor.
Yes, sir.
If it's in his favor, he owns the club. Nothing really changes. If she wins, it's 50-50, and in all likelihood, they're going to have to sell the team.
That's the way it looks.
But I would imagine the machinations to get that all done would take a while. So, would ownership, if she wins the case, would ownership change next year? Or would it?
It might not.
Seems like it would take a while.
It might take a while. Yeah. Fold with a grounder. That happened with the Moores ownership of the Padres. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. Middle of the 8th inning. 2-0 Cubs. Compass showing you Bud Norris on the mound, and a strange game for Bud. Trying to get that strike zone calibrated. He struck out 6, but he walked 7. RBI double by Castillo in the second made it 1-0 Cubs. And then the pitcher Coleman unloaded an RBI double to right in the 4th inning. 2-0 Chicago. That's where it stands right now. Coleman with a superb night. 7 innings of 6-hit shutout ball, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Gives way now to the hard-throwing local product from Conroe, Andrew Cashner, first-round pick in 2008.
Cashner, 24 years of age, 2-6 this year, 4.89 ERA for the Cubs. He's got a big arm, upper 90s with that fastball. Big kid, 6'6". 19th pick overall in 2008 out of TCU.
He has 2 wins against the Astros this season. He got his first major league win against Houston in Chicago, July 20th. Picked up another victory against Houston in Chicago on September 6th. But the Astros also handed him a loss here in Houston, July 27th. He gave up 6 runs in 1 1/3 innings in that game.
The left-handed hitters have been a bit of an issue for him.
Anderson Hernandez is a switch hitter, batting left, leading it off as the pinch hitter here in the home 8th inning, and taking strike 1. He's 2 for 15 pinch hitting, batting for Lopez.
Left-handed batters hitting .295, 402 on base, 500 slugging average against Cashner.
Pretty impressive. Brian Bogusevic is on deck. Jason Bourgeois scheduled up next as the Astros go to those left-handed hitters with the numbers that you mentioned. That would get a manager's attention, and it has. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bogusevic waiting next. Cashner has a 1.47 ERA in his last 17 games. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Evens the count at 2-2 for Anderson Hernandez. Hernandez has reached base in 6 of his last 12 pinch hit plate appearances, 5 walks and a double. Wellington Castillo having some equipment difficulties here. Phillies 11, Atlanta 2, top of the 8th inning.
He's had a lot of heroics at home this year. Some big comebacks, dramatic home runs, and walk-off hits and the like. But that would be unbelievable if they were to come back on that one. So they'll turn their attention to tomorrow. I think they got Tommy Hanson going tomorrow.
Let's see. Tomorrow, yeah, Hanson is going tomorrow night.
Short rest, I believe, and then Hudson on Sunday.
That's right.
Are just underway in San Francisco. Padres failing to score in the top of the first.
Matt Cain put up a 0, and now Clayton Richard is pitching.
It'll be the listening program for the drive home tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, John Miller, and listen to that giant Padre game.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Came up and hit him.
Cashner's got that explosive action on his fastball, especially when he throws it up. The four-seamer just really rides and hops in the strike zone.
He pitched yesterday in San Diego, 1 1/3 innings, striking out 2 in the 1-0 win. It's up the middle, and what a nice job by Anderson Hernandez, meeting the ball squarely after working the count full. And single for Hernandez.
97-mile-an-hour fastball, and he just whacked it right back up the middle of the diamond. It's the 8th pitch of the at-bat, and that's a nice win for Anderson Hernandez.
He's aboard. Brian Bogusevic is the next pinch hitter, batting for Jason Bourgeois, who was 0 for 3. Bogusevic made his 4th start of the season last night, his 3rd on the road trip. Taking strike 1. He was in left field, and he went 0 for 3 against Bronson Arroyo. 3 for 8 as a pinch hitter with a pair of doubles for Brian.
That's an easy 97, too. It's effortless.
0-2 now.
And Sean Marshall warming up in the Cubs bullpen, the big lefty. He's had a heck of a year.
One and two. Bogusevic will have surgery to shave down a bone spur on his foot after the season. Hit .277 at Round Rock this season with 13 homers, driving in 57. And a strikeout for Cashner. 1 out. 3rd strikeout for Chicago pitchers tonight. Sailed like a frisbee. Cappinger is 0 for 3. Ground out and 2 fly balls. Hunter Pence is on deck. Cubs relievers have 15 wins, 27 losses, a 4.62 ERA. Cappinger looks at ball 1.
Might have been strike 1 if Castillo would have been able to catch it.
Yeah.
Tough to get the call when you can't catch the pitch.
The Cubs pitchers have struck out more than 1,200 this year, and their hitters have struck out more than 1,200 times. Ooh, that one almost hit him. That really took off. 2-0. Yeah, Castillo's having a rough time catching Cashner.
Trying to go down and away with his fastball, and it sails all the way to the other side. Castillo able to make a glove save.
Carlos Marmol has huge strikeout numbers. In fact, he's going at a record pace, 15.97 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's hit to left center field. Soriano over, and he makes a running catch. 2 outs. Hunter Pence is 2 for 3. Both hits have come. He's pulled the ball to Bobby Scales.
Headed in the right direction, just too much air under it.
The Cubs on this final road trip of the year won 3 out of 4 at San Diego, and 3 of those 4 games were shutout games. The Cubs won 2 of them. Their pitchers have worked together to get 13 shutouts this year. That's the most since they had 14 in 03. Steele's having a rough time back there. 2 balls, no strikes. Mike Quaddy's club will have Barney DeWitt and Soriano due up in the 9th. In the air toward the right field line. Snyder playing deep comes over. And in the 8th inning, it's no runs, a hit. A man stranded. Going to the 9th. Cubs 2, Astros nothing.
Chevy for being a proud sponsor of youth baseball programs throughout the state of Texas. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy's commitment to youth baseball programs, go to ChevyTexasBaseball.com. And we want to remind you that you can catch all the action of the 2010 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 6th with Division Series on TBS. Guys, back to you.
All righty. October 6th, when's that? Tuesday? The first game Tuesday?
Check on that.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay. Brian Bogusevic is the center fielder.
Season ends Sunday.
Yeah, that's the 3rd.
So they're not playing. There's no games on Tuesday, huh? Usually it's just a day off.
Yeah, usually. Brandon Lyon in the game. 6 wins, 6 losses, 20 saves, and 22 opportunities. A 3.20 ERA facing Darwin Barney, who's 0 for 4.
So they got to make sure there's at least a day for an extra game if need be, and
right.
then travel.
Yeah, it could be travel for that. Yeah, could be a playoff on Monday. So it all has to be provided for. Ground ball rolls up the middle, backhanded. Keppinger throwing to lead. 1 out.
Now, obviously, anything can happen in the postseason. That's the slogan. Anything can happen.
Okay.
But having said that, can you handicap this thing? Do you have a prohibitive favorite going in? Who do you like?
I like the Phillies and the Yankees.
I like the Phillies and the Rays.
Yeah.
And I like the Phillies to win it all.
That'd be fun. Blake DeWitt pops it up. Chris Johnson over. 2 outs for Lyon. Lyon, when he got his 20th save in that Cincinnati series, gave the Astros 2 relief pitchers with 20 saves or more. That's only been done 5 times in baseball history. Matt Lindstrom leading with 23. Now trailing 2-0. He looks to get Soriano and give the Astros a shot in the bottom of the 9th with Lee, Blum, and Michaels due up against Carlos Marmol. Strike to Soriano, who's been on 3 times, 2 walks and a single. Padres have just scored a run in the top of the 2nd inning, and they're still batting against Matt Cain. Ryan Ludwig hit a homer with 17. No balls, 2 strikes. That has been a really good race in the NL West this year. The Giants could certainly be one of those surprise teams in postseason. Right now, the Yankees don't look so good with their pitching, so the Rays are probably a better pick right now.
Are you waffling? Are you backtracking
No,
here?
no.
Yeah.
But Andy Pettitte has not thrown the ball very well. Bullpen outside of Mariano Rivera, Jabba Chamberlain, can be a little iffy.
A.J. Burnett has lost 15 games for a 93-win team. First person to do that since Carlos Silva in 06. Got all kinds of little factoids here.
Yeah. It's good stuff. 1-2. The Phillies certainly would disappoint their fans if they didn't go back to a World Series. The way their club has played in September.
Well, they do have the burden of expectation, but that's okay.
Now the Cubs finished up in Lou Pinella's last 25 games. They were 5-20. So they have to feel a whole lot better about their offseason now, the way September has gone.
Well, this season very much mirrors the Astros. Out of the gates, they had a very difficult time scoring runs. And the veterans in the middle of their order did not produce. Lee, Ramirez, Soriano struggling early for most of the season. And their success lately mostly because of their pitching. So a very similar story in Chicago as to the one here in Houston.
Up the middle, Lyon deflects it. And Soriano then beats it out for an infield hit. Lyon slowed it down so much Keppinger couldn't get there. And Soriano reaching for the 4th time tonight.
The ball had pretty good steam on it.
Now Hoffpower grounded out all 3 times, and he's walked. Snyder on deck. That one almost got him, ball 1. Marmol might not be warming up in the bullpen. We're checking that now.
Rubber Band Man might have a night off.
Yeah. Roller to Johnson. Johnson over to Lee. In the 9th inning, no runs a hit. A man stranded. We'll see who comes out for the bottom of the 9th with the Cubs leading at 2-0. CHN F-150. Ford is the best in Texas. Carlos Marmol does come out of the Cubs bullpen. We have a correction to make from the top of the inning. Soriano reached on that ball off Brandon Lyon's glove. That was actually ruled an error. So, yeah, didn't understand that at the time, but Lyon was charged with an error. Wow. And yeah, that's a bit of a curious call. But now we look at Carlos Marmol warming up.
I'm a big fan of giving the pitcher an error. I think a lot of times they rule base hit on balls the pitcher should be able to handle. That one, though, a lot on it.
Yes, it did. Very little reaction time.
Well, here comes Marmol. This guy's having a crazy year. 4 strikeouts in relief of the National League. He is the top of the list with 136 of those. And he has done that in 76 2/3 innings. Batting average against him is 149. He walks a lot. He's walked 52. Sometimes I think the most prudent strategy is not to swing.
Yeah. Carlos Lee's 0 for 3. Ball 1 to him. Club record for strikeouts by reliever for Carlos Marmol. 136 career high. 1 ball, 1 strike. 37 saves, 4th in the National League. He saved 13 in September alone. That led Major League Baseball. 1-2.
Shows that soft little floating slider in the strike zone. And then the hard one breaking off the outside edge.
Just past Bruce Sutter for the most strikeouts by a Cubs reliever. Check swing call there. Takes it to 2-2. Arnold struck out 3 in the 9th on Saturday to pass Sutter. Ground ball to third. Scales. 1 out. Cashner in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, no runs with no walks, 1 strikeout. Now Jeff Blum, he's had 2 hits tonight and 3 at bats. A single season record for a reliever in strikeouts per 9 innings was set by Eric Gagne of the Dodgers in 03. 14.98 strikeouts per 9. Marmol is at 15.97 right now. So surely he'll get that. There's ball 1 to Blum.
Yeah, you have to separate those strikeout rate records between relievers and starters. Could you imagine if Nolan Ryan was a closer, what his strikeout rate would have been?
1 ball, 1 strike. The Astros have been shut out 12 times this year. Cubs have authored 13 shutouts of their own. And trying for back-to-back shutout wins here with a count 1 ball, 2 strikes after winning 1-0 yesterday at San Diego.
Well, Marmol with that delivery, you know that he's tough on righties, but in terms of the batting average, he's actually been tougher on left-handed hitters this year.
He gets a strikeout for out number 2. And now Jason Michaels. He has a pair of doubles. The Cubs won 1-0 in that opener of that San Diego series, and then again 1-0 yesterday. Now trying for a 2-0 win, with Michaels possessing 2 of the Astros' 7 hits in this game, and he has the only extra base hits. Looking at ball 1. Milwaukee beat Cincinnati in 11, 4-3. John Axford got his 24th save with a win for McClendon, a loss for LeCure. 1-1. Yankees in Boston postponed tonight at Fenway. Kansas City shut out Tampa Bay 7-0. Bruce Chen winning. He's 12-7, beating James Shields, who's 13-15.
The Yankees will have a half-game lead over the Rays heading into play tomorrow.
3-1 now.
Always fun to play those doubleheaders on the next to last day of the season.
You know it, especially with a lot riding on it for home field advantage. 3-2 now. Chris Johnson's on deck. Jason Michaels trying to reach. Get Johnson to the plate, representing the potential tying run. And Marmol gets a strikeout, his second, to wrap this one up. A 2-0 win. Casey Coleman going to 4-2, beating Bud Norris, who's 9-10. And the Cubs just continue to post zeros. Back-to-back shutout wins. They win this one tonight. Cubs 2, Astros 0.